Good morning everybody and welcome back to episode 160 of Enter Crypto, where twice a day I keep you informed and fully up to date on all things crypto. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I bring out a new video every 12 hours. So firstly, just a quick apology about my voice. I'm not feeling too well. I've got a sore throat. It's just a cold. So that's why I sound a bit groggy. So now we're going to be talking about an article from CNN's business section. It's titled "Crypto is joining the grown-up table and no one is happy about it." This is an article by, or she calls it an analysis, by Alison Morrow. I'll jump straight into the article and we'll comment along the way. So, there's Laurie David. When FTX collapsed in November, it was a seismic event for the crypto industry. Many called it the Lehman moment. The comparison holds true in broad strokes. An industry giant came tumbling down, contagion spread, and regulators who had been reluctant to act suddenly had a clearer target and a wave of public outrage to bolster their cause. And now we may be officially entering the Dodd-Frank era of crypto. Dodd-Frank, of course, being the 2010 legislation Congress passed in response to lax oversight in parts of the banking industry that plunged the world into one of the worst financial crises in history. As the crypto market has exploded into a $1 trillion industry, proponents are grappling with a regulatory infrastructure ill-equipped to handle it and broadly suspicious of its fundamental pitch as the future of finance. In the 3 months since FTX filed for bankruptcy, state and federal regulators have escalated both their rhetoric and their actions to keep the fast-growing digital asset industry in check. A shift that is unsurprisingly not going over great with crypto companies. On Tuesday, the Senate Committee on Banking, Housing and Urban Affairs held a hearing pointedly titled "Crypto Crash: Why Financial Safeguards Are Needed for Digital Assets." While crypto contagion didn't affect the broader financial system, we saw glimpses of the damage it could have done if crypto migrated into the banking system, the committee's chairman, Senator Sherrod Brown, said in his opening remarks. These crypto catastrophes have exposed what many of us already knew. Digital assets, cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, and investment tokens are speculative products run by reckless companies that put Americans' hard-earned money at risk. What you also need to, what should be, if we're going to make this sweeping statement about crypto, then in 2008 when Lehman collapsed, when that all happened and went into the credit crunch, we called it the credit crunch in the UK. But it was one of the biggest financial collapses, certainly within banking, probably ever. So once that happened, what do we do after that? Do we then get rid of the banking industry? Do we now start scrutinising everything that the banks do? Well, we should have done, if that's what we're going to do with crypto now, the FTX has collapsed, but we didn't do that. The banks just continued to operate just the way they did before. And we have a saying in England which actually came from that time, from this credit crunch time, where we used to say that the banks were too big to fail. And that basically meant that because everybody needs a bank, and because they're in they're in bed with the government, that basically they're so big that they can afford to take risks that none of us can, because they will always win. So it's a bit like a gamble. If you think like a gambler, and where they can bet on a football team to win, and they can take on a huge amount of risk, they can bet the mortgage on this bet. And if the football team wins, then they win because they get a huge payout because they gambled so much money on it. But if they lose and they turn around to the bookies or to the bookkeeping agent that put the bet on for the individual, they can say, well, I can't afford to pay you. And then the bookie, in this case, which would be the government in the bank's case, will just say, well, don't worry about it, we'll bail you out. So you can now, so as a bank, if there are no punishments or no incentives not to do it, the incentives to do it are just huge. Why wouldn't a bank do that? Why wouldn't a bank take massive risks with somebody else's money? Why wouldn't they do that? They're not going to go to prison. They're not going to go to jail. We've already seen that in 2008 that nobody did. So they're just going to continue to operate, if not worse. They're probably going to say, well, look what happened when everything failed and collapsed in 2008. Nothing happened to us. So why would we stop doing this? We're making massive profits. We win if we win, and we win if we lose, because the government will bail us out. We're too big to fail. Meaning that the government is scared that if we fail and if they actually put us out of business, that the government will lose, or that the citizens will lose, because we serve so many, serve our banking products and financial services to the rest of the country. So we can't fail. And that's very dangerous, because that stops bad businesses from failing. It means that bad businesses and bad business models, like the current banking one in certainly the private banking sector, they get to continue to operate. And they actually get rewarded for bad behaviour, which is obviously terrible. You never want that. You want bad behaviour to always fail, or certainly bad business models to fail, so that the good ideas and the good business models that really do serve people and where people get real value can prosper. So that's the issue that we've got here with this. So I just hope that if they are willing to look at crypto, then look at us in the same way as you did with 2008 with the Lehman failure. So, stablecoins in the spotlight. The hearing came a day after regulatory crackdown on one of the world's most popular stablecoins. On Monday, the New York regulators ordered blockchain firm Paxos to stop issuing BUSD. This is also known as Binance USD. So if anyone doesn't know, Binance is an exchange. They have a liquidity, well, it's kind of a liquidity token, but it's basically a tokenized version of the dollar, and it's on their Binance network, which is basically just another network like Ethereum, but far more centralized. And they have this token called USD or BUSD, and you can get in and out of that with your trades, and it just gives you a stable currency to jump in and jump out of, basically. So so it looks like what's happened is that the SEC, basically Binance used this blockchain firm Paxos as kind of a clearinghouse for the USD, for their own BUSD to go in and out of the different tokens to clear at the end of each day. This is my understanding from what CZ had tweeted and CZ had explained about a month ago, when they had to wait a few hours once because the banks were not open, and everybody thought it was like kind of there was something wrong with Binance, but actually what happened was that the banks just didn't open until Monday morning, so they couldn't clear some of the funds. Now, so-called stablecoins are digital tokens that maintain a one-to-one backing with US dollars or other fiat currency. Investors typically buy them to store money and facilitate deals within the cryptocurrency infrastructure, making them a bedrock of the crypto ecosystem. The New York Department of Financial Services didn't immediately respond to CNN's request to comment. Paxos told customers that they would be able to redeem their BUSD through February 2024, with options to redeem funds in US dollars or to convert their tokens to Pax Dollar, which is another stable coin issued by the company. At the same time, the SEC plans to sue Paxos, alleging that BUSD should have been registered under federal securities laws. Paxos categorically disagrees with the SEC, it said in a statement on Monday, because BUSD is not a security under the federal securities laws. The firm said it would engage with the SEC on the issue and is prepared to vigorously litigate if necessary. The firm declined to comment beyond its statement. The BUSD news has clearly unsettled investors. Binance, which partnered with Paxos to launch the stablecoin in 2019, on Monday suffered one of its worst ever days in terms of withdrawals, with $873 million in net outflows, according to data provider Nansen. So lastly, enforcement ramps up. The crackdown on BUSD and Paxos is just the latest instance of regulatory muscle flexing in recent months. Actions that are sowing confusion and frustration among crypto's proponents, many of whom have sought regulatory clarity for years. Regulation by enforcement is puzzling for crypto enthusiasts, said Marcus Soteriou, market analyst and digital asset broker at Global Block, in a note. People are desperately trying to figure out how to offer a product legally whilst getting zero guidance. And this is the problem. We've been saying this a lot on this channel, but it's okay for regulators to come in and say, well, you're not doing this and we're going to sue you. The SEC comes in and says, oh, we're going to sue you for doing this and that. But there's no clear guidance by the regulators letting blockchain companies or crypto companies know what is the correct way to go forward. So if I want to launch a security on the Ethereum network, if I want to launch a token that's a security, how do I register? This is the big problem. There is no way for crypto companies to register with the SEC so that we can be regulated. So even if we want to be compliant, we can't. And then if we launch the product, we get sued. So it's just not, and it's not even clear what is a security and isn't a security. So you don't even know whether you're supposed to register it or not. So even to err on the side of caution, when you think your product is not a security, you try to register it anyway just so that you don't get sued later on, and you can't even do that. So, the SEC is really, I don't know what's going on there at the moment with Gary Gensler, but it's not good. It's not for crypto anyway. It's not good. And there is an argument in crypto that we say we don't actually want to be protected. These regulations, sometimes they do more harm than good. They actually stifle innovation, and crypto is a very fast-moving world that governments and regulators like the SEC just cannot keep up with. It's too quick and it's too technologically advanced. They just cannot. I actually wonder if they even understand it. Never mind. You would have to understand it first before you could actually keep up with it. And I think they're just not used to it whatsoever. So we'll see how they change. But I think there's going to need to be massive changes there for them to keep up, because people in crypto are really unhappy about this. You imagine even the guys in the crypto companies that want to comply and want to be regulated cannot be regulated. They want to be and they can't register. That's really bad. That means you're forcing people to break the law for people who do not want to. So last week the SEC reached a $30 million settlement with crypto platform Kraken that will force the firm to unwind its staking practice, which allows investors to make passive yield on their crypto holdings. The settlement immediately raised questions about other exchanges that offer staking, which crypto advocates say is vital to supporting the healthy function of some virtual currencies. In January, regulators warned US banks and other market participants about the risks of fraud, volatility and shoddy risk management in the crypto world. It is important that risks related to the crypto asset sector that cannot be mitigated or controlled do not migrate to the banking system, they said in a statement. The first ever joint statement on crypto from the Federal Reserve, the Federal Deposit Insurance Company, which is the FDIC, and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. So there's the article. And another thing that I always watch whenever I'm looking at things like how the SEC are operating, how the regulators are going about the business and who are they suing and who are they prosecuting or whatever it is that they're getting up to, is you always want to know why. It's never as simple as somebody's done something wrong and now they're chasing them. It's usually somebody's done something wrong and they're chasing them not because they've done something wrong, but because maybe they want to make an example out of them. Maybe they want it to be taken seriously. Maybe they're not having a good year and regulators are not being taken seriously that year, so they want to put down heavy sentences. Things like that, there's always something more going on. And to me, the fact that they're actually going after Binance and Binance associated, this basically BUSD, says to me that they don't seem to have a problem with stable coins, which is a lot of people are worried about in crypto, saying, they keep, they're going after the stable coins, and actually they're not, because you look at Circle, USDC, and you look at Tether, USDT, and there's no problems with them. They're having a great time, those two. So it's almost like they're best friends with the SEC. We don't even hear a single thing about them. But the SEC, for one reason or another, seem to have a big problem with Binance. Ever since sort of last year when they were talking about suing them, or CZ was talking about that they were going to think about suing them, and now we've got problems with the BUSD, which is their USD dollar stable coin, but we don't have a problem with Tether and we don't have a problem with Circle. Well, that's a bit unusual. So we'll see though, we'll see what happens. But this tells me that they don't have a problem with stable coins in general, which is good. So thank you everybody for watching and listening. Remember to please subscribe to the channel, join my team, and I'll keep you updated on all things crypto every 12 hours. Don't forget to smash the like button if you feel you got value from this video. I'll see you all in 12 hours time.